It's Matty, and today I want to let you in on a super important secret that I've been keeping from you for an extremely long time. And if you actually use this secret, I guarantee you that you're going to explode your personal brand, you're going to be able to live a life of more freedom, fun, and adventure. Absolutely guaranteed, 100%. But you have to do the secret that I'm about to tell you. So what is this secret? What is this magical thing that I'm about to tell you that is going to absolutely explode your personal brand and make you more money as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as an influencer, as a YouTuber, as a podcaster, etc. So one of the biggest things that people ask me is, Matty, like, okay, you're talking about becoming the attractive character. Like, how do I actually go out and become the attractive character? And then I'm like, all right, just go out and start doing some content. And they're like, oh, but like, I'm too afraid. I don't want to put myself on camera. Like, is there a workaround? Is there something else that I could do? And I'm like, nah, son, the only solution is that you go out and become the attractive character. And they're like, oh man, okay. And so what I did when I was just starting out is that's what I would do. I would go out and just record a piece of content, right? At first I was too afraid to be on camera, so I'm like, oh, I'll just do blogging. And then I realized that blogging just takes way too much time, way easier for me to just turn on my camera, start recording myself and kind of see what happens. And honestly, I procrastinated for an extremely long time before I actually shot my first video, right? I remember I would see these other YouTubers out there and they'd be like, oh man, and I would see them out there and they would be crushing it. They would be creating these amazing videos. And this is just early on in YouTube, right? This is like 2009, 2010 when I would see these people and I'd be like, oh man. And now I go back and I look at their videos and like, they're not as good as their new ones, right? But that was me. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go out and start creating videos. And so that's what I did, right? I just was kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna record my first video. And so I remember I actually went out and recorded some videos myself. I've never posted these anywhere. I just recorded them on the camera I had at the time. And they're not the best videos. Maybe I'll release them in the future just to show you how bad I actually was on camera. And that'll give you some motivation for you to actually step forward, right? But I was just like, okay, I'm gonna record these videos. And so I would record a video, I would watch it after, I'd be like, man, I'm so bad, I'm making all these mistakes. But by doing so, I'm like, okay, I could fix this, I could fix this, I could fix this, right? And you actually see yourself and you see your sticking points, you see kind of the shadow spots that could be improved, and you go out and actually fix those things yourself. And gradually over time, you become better and better and better, right? So I call this the stages of suckery. And what I mean by this is, first time you go out and create content, you're probably not gonna actually be able to have the confidence and have the self-esteem to actually go out and shoot a video. What's actually gonna happen is you're gonna procrastinate and you're gonna have all this inner resistance inside yourself and you're just not gonna do it for a long time. That's absolutely fine. You're gonna go through that phase. But then the next phase is you're actually gonna get the courage and you're gonna create that first video. And you're gonna be like, oh man, like I'm so glad I created that first video. And you know what you're gonna realize? You're gonna be like, yo, you know what? I was all inside my head, right? I was completely stuck. Like, this stuff isn't as scary as I thought, right? It was just giving me a lot of anxiety, but the only person really standing in my way was me. And when you have that realization, you're gonna be like, okay, well, you're gonna start looking at the content. You're gonna be like, oh, like I suck at this, I suck at this, I suck at this. And then gradually over time, the more content that you create, the better you're gonna get, right? It's gonna be like that with the video quality. At first, you're not gonna know how to frame stuff, right? You're not gonna know what lighting is, you're not gonna know color correction, you're not gonna know how to fix the audio, but you're gonna see those little spots, right? You're gonna see those little spots where you're completely sucking, and then you'll actually go out there and consciously fix those things. Back about 10 years ago, there was this, I remember when I was really kind of in a very low place in my life. I was like staying up, it was extremely late at night, I saw this infomercial, and it was for this self-help product, right? And the product itself, I believe it was called Your Wish is Your Command. And it was by this dude, Kevin Trudeau. And I remember one of the first concepts that he talked about in that was basically these different stages of learning, right? There's stage one, which is unconscious incompetence. Stage two is conscious incompetence. Stage three is conscious competence. And then stage four is unconscious competence, right? So kind of stage one, you suck, you have no clue. That's absolutely fine, right? You have no clue. But then stage two, you actually step up and you actually kind of see that you're like, oh, you know what? I suck, right? You see yourself on camera maybe, and you see yourself doing something. Maybe you have a bad habit that you can fix, and you're like, okay, I can fix that, right? Stage three is essentially where you can now do that thing that you want to do, but you have to think about it a lot, right? You have to exert a lot of mental energy into actually executing that skill properly. And then the last stage is you're just an absolute master, right? You crush it and you don't even have to think about it a second time, right? It's just kind of you become that thing, right? You become the master, and essentially all you need to do now is just, continue on your path, right? So those are kind of the different stages that you're going to go through as you become the attractive character, right? And to be honest, right, I'm kind of still in that middle stage, right? I'm not necessarily the best at doing these videos, right? When you see my videos, like some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are a lot better, but obviously it's taken me a lot of time to just get to this level where I'm a lot more comfortable on camera. And I believe that anyone can do that, right? It's just about stepping up, doing this consistently, recording it, looking at your sticking points, looking at where you're bad at things, and then consciously being like, okay, I'm not good at this one thing. What can I do to fix that thing? And then implementing that fix, and then again, monitoring that, seeing if you can improve that thing. If you don't, then try it in a different way. If you do, awesome, move on to the next thing that you can fix, right? And it's a gradual thing, man. It takes time, right? I always tell people, I'm like, dude, if you're just starting out and you have no following, if you have no email list, all right, if you have an email list, you can crush it right away. You don't even need to do this. If you have an email list of like 100,000 people and you've never shot a video in your life, man, you don't even need to shoot video. You can just send an email to your list. But if you're just starting out, like, I would really recommend you build your platform via video on social media, right? And you can do this on YouTube, you can do this on Facebook, obviously. You can do this on pretty much any platform, but regardless, it's something where you just have to start, right? You just have to realize, like, I'm in my head. The reason why I'm afraid of this is because maybe I don't trust myself yet, but if I can just suck it up, record that first video, see how bad it is, and then improve upon there, just get out of the way, that you'll gradually improve over time. I mean, I've seen people, like, if you look at Joe Rogan, right? When he was just starting out, I remember I used to watch him. I would stay up really late at night and I would watch Letterman. But before Letterman, they would have news radio, and I would see Joe Rogan in news radio, and then I would see him in Fear Factor. And then at some point, I think in 2009, 2010, he actually started his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. If you go back and actually watch the first episode, it's one of the worst shows you've ever seen. There's no one watching it. The audio is absolutely terrible. The video is overexposed. It's really one of the worst pieces of content I've ever seen. But now when you look at it, right, Joe Rogan just signed this deal with Spotify for $100 million, right? And how did he get to that point? Because he was consistent, right? He recorded content, it improved over time, and then over time he grew an even bigger and bigger and bigger following, and that allowed him to close that deal. Quick note, by the way, when you do sign that $100 million deal, make sure that you continue to produce good content, because I'll be honest, like, the Joe Rogan Experience isn't the same it used to be, right? A few years back, it was great, and now it's just not as great, right? Joe, I don't think, cares about his audience anymore. I mean, he hasn't upgraded his set. His set is absolutely trash, like, and I'm talking about both of them, like the red one and the new one with the neon sign, absolute trash. Done with Joe Rogan, never watching his stuff ever again. But look, you could become the Joe Rogan. Like, think about it. Like, most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So I would really recommend you think long term, right? Like, don't just think a year out, 5 years out, think 10 years out, right? How big could you grow your personal brand, right? If you want to become an influencer in your space, I think that's absolutely possible, but it takes time, man. But it takes energy and consistency for you to put into those videos, to create those videos, and then over time, you're gonna gradually grow your personal brand. You'll become the attractive character. You're gonna get through all the stages of suckery. You're gonna have that frog to prince story, right? Where you start out as this very insecure, warty, disgusting, like, frog, and then over time, you become Prince Charming, right? And all the girls want to be with you. Or if you're a woman, you know, all the guys want to be with you, whatever, you know, all that stuff. Anyways, hope you really enjoyed today's video. If you did, I want you to like this video, leave a comment below. Let me know what sort of stuff that you want to know more about concerning the attractive character. Consider subscribing to this channel and hitting that bell notification so you can be updated when the next video drops. I'm Matty. Have an awesome day, be blessed, and be grateful.